Well, hey guys, good morning. It is Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. As in, let's see what actually works. We're not going to believe the hype. We're not going to believe the clickbait out there. We're going to see what actually works for the rest of us who aren't making a dime on the Pro Tour in the next couple of years. How about that? Guys, hope you're having a great day so far. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Another session of 7 around 7. 7 meaning we're going to try to go for 7 minutes around. I'm going to try to go for 7 minutes around 7 a.m. every morning out here on the West Coast, Rancho Mirage right now, California desert. And yeah, let's see, what have I got on tap for you today? Today we're going to talk about something that Jeff and I mentioned yesterday, specifically something that Jeff mentioned about becoming a solutions-based player. And I want to kind of dig into that a little bit deeper this morning. Before we get started, a couple of things. Number one, topspin forehand. If you're struggling, yours is shanking, you're mishitting it, it's landing short, it's sailing deep, whatever. You've really got not enough control over it and you want to do so. Down in the description area, I've got, at least over at YouTube, maybe at both. Maybe I put it both at Facebook and YouTube. Anyway, there is a link that will take you to my course. It's called the 12 Cues of the Topspin Forehand. Most players have got 9 or 10 already baked in. There's just 1 or 2 missing. So I invite you to dig into it. Discover what are your 1 or 2 cues that might be missing from your topspin forehand. You know, that's holding you back from getting that confidence that you want every time a ball is on your forehand side. So after we're done today, make sure that you click that link and go check it out. Guys, let's dig into what we've got today and talk about what Jeff and I kind of got into at the end yesterday about becoming a solutions-based player. And what I want you to be thinking about is that, you know, and I kind of say it tongue in cheek when I, intro the thing 7 around 7 with, let's see what actually works. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe all the clickbait. Unfortunately, most of that stuff out there and most of the videos that we see on YouTube and Facebook are simply based on stroke technique, as if you can master strokes, a forehand, a backhand, a serve, in such a way that there's not an opponent out there that could deal with it. And look, my story is I think pretty common, where, when I learned the game from Mr. Stowe back in the early 80s, I didn't really get enough time with him because he was at the end of his life. And when I got with him for those 18 months in the early 80s with those 3 other top 5 guys in NorCal, I just didn't have enough time. And so the message he got across to me was that, well, you pretty much want to end the point by being on top of or inside the service line. And that was just simply because you want to become that kind of player, serve and volley, chip and charge off that second serve. Or if you return the first serve and you can't, then just about any ground stroke to me looked like an approach shot opportunity. And I just took liberties with that. And I was just kind of a crash the boards type of rebounder, right? I mean, I was just coming in all the time and basically forcing guys to pass me. That was my challenge. And did I have a great serve? No. Did I have an adequate serve? I did. I had a good enough serve where I could kind of spot it around the service box over there. Had a little bit of spin when I needed to, that kind of thing. I was consistent enough where I could serve and volley, and it worked. And I'm talking about first and second serves. I was young enough to be able to do that. And the chip and charge off that second serve, return to serve, I got pretty good at it. But after a while, once I started to age up a little bit, I just stayed stubborn. And I continued to try to kind of shove a round peg and maybe a square peg in a round hole. Anyway, one of those two. And eventually I started losing to guys that I just, hadn't lost to before, and just thought that, I just kept going after it and after and after it. And really, I was not a solutions-based player, meaning that eventually my serve and volley thing, and even when I was younger, I wasn't winning gold balls. I wasn't even, I wasn't getting into the ball rounds. And so I was, but I was just a one-trick pony. And so I guess what I meant by all the videos that we see on YouTube and Facebook is that's all that the messaging that comes across is that if you learn this forehand, this topper forehand, or if you learn this two-hand or topper backhand, or whatever it is, that this is going to serve you against any type of opponent over there. And it's just not true. So for me, I struggled through that period of when I finally started to age up and lost a little RPM or a little speed on the serve, lost maybe half a step coming in, lost a little quickness, kind of reacting to that passing shot, whatever. I still for years kept trying to force feed that as my style of play. And I found that there were just now I was finding that, look, there are guys over there, this doesn't really bother them. In fact, they kind of want me to do this. And so I went through a period of probably, the first couple of years were kind of like, well, maybe I need to learn how to stay back a little bit more, work the ball around, and look for an opportunity, a better opportunity, and which meant that I was still serving a volley in the first serve. I was now serving and volleying less on the second serve. I was now coming in less on the second serve return of serve, but my goal was still that. I was still eventually trying to get up to net. And to this day, that is where I'd love to end up at the end of a point. Now, it may take me longer now than it did way back, way back when I was working with Mr. Stowe. And way back until maybe just about 12 or 15 years ago. And so what I want to get inside your head is that there are opponents out there that your thing, your style of play, your A game won't work against. Maybe once in a while it does. Maybe you're at such, Jeff and I have talked forever about the skill level range. Maybe today you're playing at the very, very top of your skill level and you're clicking on all cylinders in your A game, for the entire match. Let's be realistic. We do for a few points, maybe a couple of games. Maybe we go for 12 or 15 minutes in a match and we're just hitting on all cylinders. But most of the time, look, we're just managing the mediocre. And the mediocre is not a criticism. It's just reality, right? We're not digging winners all the time. That's just winners all the time. That's just not real. So eventually I became that kind of player. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about what's the meaning of a true all-court player. And this is something that I got from Mr. Stowe. And I've sort of hybridized that meaning. Tomorrow I want to talk about it. And I see we're at 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Man, I need to change the title of this thing or just stop yakking so much. But I've now become that kind of player where, depending on my opponent, I may make a little adjustment with a solution that will work against that opponent. And if I'm playing some guy that I've never, ever played before, sure, I'll go ahead and probe with my supposed A game, right? Where whatever that is. But I may discover that in that probing, that part of it I have to adjust, right? It's not like going to plan B, right? The whole transition from plan A to plan B. Well, are we doing that just because there's one little thing that's not quite working out over there? Don't change it. God, I'm getting off topic quickly here. So look, I want you to think about becoming a solutions-based player. And that's something that Jeff said yesterday. Become a solutions-based player in that you can actually deal with different types of opponents with the reality knowing that whatever your A game is, it kind of can feed into certain kinds of opponent styles over there. And so we've got to be able to solve that. The best way is not to sit around and kind of, scratch your head and go, well, what are the different things I could do out there? The best way, and this is what Jeff and I talked about at the end yesterday, is you've got to get more experiences under your belt. And look, we can't do it right now because COVID has got, the tournament schedule shut down for the most part. So what can we do to gain more experience against different types of opponents, against different types of opponents at different venues, in different weather conditions, in whatever it is. We need all kinds of experiences. And one of the reasons the top guys are solution-based players is because they've got, thousands upon thousands of experiences, not only in different tournaments, in different venues, in different opponents, under different conditions. Could be weather conditions, could be you feel like crap today, but gosh darn, it's the quarterfinals of a national category 1. I'm not going to just kind of just default and just say, screw it. I'm going to go out there and do it. And look, I remember I played the 2018 70 indoor singles final. I'd been sick all week, and I was getting sicker, I should say. And by the time I got to the finals, I was a mess. I was just, and actually I eventually had to, just felt like I was going to, barf all over the court after the first set. And I, could barely move, lost the first set. I think I won one game. And I did. One of the few times I actually walked up the net and said, man, I can't do it, which was probably, if I look back on it now, I regret doing that. Only, should have brought a pail out there, had it just, rather than have my towel handy, just have the pail over there. Because who knows? Maybe I hit a shot, the guy trips, falls down, has to retire. But the bottom line is that you got to get experiences, and now is a great opportunity to do it. That invite different players over to your tennis facility, play on those different courts that maybe you don't feel great on. I don't know. Could be court 1, could be court 10, right? See if they'll reciprocate and take you over to their place. Play on a lot of public park facility courts that aren't well maintained, right? Trash on them. They haven't been washed in 17 years. You need to get experiences. And if you don't get it, then you're going to kind of keep yourself at this same level. And at the same level against certain opponents on certain days when the weather's perfect, everything's great. But if you really want to get to become a better player, and look, with the skill level range thing we talk about, some days you play at the top of your skill level range, some days you play at the bottom, right? And the whole key here, what can you do to bring the bottom of that skill level range up towards your top so that you gain this confidence that every time you go out, no matter where it is and no matter who the opponent is, you're a solution-based player. And when you do that, then the confidence builds because you know that, hey, on any given day, you're going to play pretty close to the top of your skill level range, whatever that is. And that really builds a lot of foundation of confidence, or that builds a foundation of confidence. So hope that makes sense, guys. All right, that's it for me today. Look, if you're over on Facebook, would love it if you'd hit the like button and share. And if you're over at YouTube, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. And then go ahead and hit that notification bell and choose all so that you get notified whenever I either go live or upload a video to my YouTube channel over at youtube.com/web tennis. Guys, with that said, as always, love to read your comments, your remarks, your questions in the in the comments area. And I promise to respond. You can direct message me at Facebook or shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. Guys, as always, you got to get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I will see you again tomorrow.